Hey guys, Adrian here for Digital Dojos, and today we're going to be taking a look at the iPad, a review of the iPad 16GB Wi-Fi model. I repeat, this is the Wi-Fi model, not the 3G, but this is an overall review of my iPad. So, I've had it for a couple weeks now. I unboxed it on my main channel at LakerCoolman, youtube.com/LakerCoolman, but I wanted to give you guys a look at the iPad. This is it without its case. It's laying on its case right now, but as you can see here, this is the 16GB model. And first off, I just wanted to give you a look at really just the dimension of the iPad, just how it looks, and as you can see here, the thinness. There's the 30-pin connector dock. I'm going to try and focus in here, give you a slow pan. There's the speakers, just to see how thin the iPad actually is. And to show you is comparison to the Apple remote, which they sell. It's pretty razor thin, if you can see how, just about lining it up here, about how thin it is. It's almost as thin as the remote, which is pretty thin. The iPad really is a great device. Like I said, I've used it for a couple weeks now, and I've been loving it. So, you can see here that again the home screen or the home button on top of that, the 30-pin connector right here. It is a width. It is at 7.47 inches. It is at 9.56 inches in height. Depth is only about half an inch. That's 0.5 of an inch. It weighs only half a pound. This is for the Wi-Fi model. Now, when you add the radio in there for the 3G model, it only goes up to 1.6 pounds. So it really is a really light device. On the display itself, this is a 9.7 inch diagonal LED backlit glossy widescreen, multi-touch with IPS technology, which makes the colors look much more amazing, really bright, nice. It's at a resolution of 2024 by 768 at 132 pixels per inch. Fingerprint resistant oleophobic coating, support for multiple, multi-touch gestures. It comes in models of 16, 32, 64 flash drive memory. It also features a 1 GHz Apple A4 custom design power or CPU chip. It's really high, low power system on a chip, but high performance. And as for battery life, you have a built-in 25 watt-hour rechargeable lithium ion, which gives you up to 10 hours of watching video, online surfing. Really great stuff. So with all the tech specs out the way, I want to kind of see what you get in the device, what you get for your money. And as I go over here to reach for the actual what you get in the box type deal, you get. So you can see the charger there, kind of falling out. But you get the Apple. What they call basically this is their their unit to charge into a wall outlet. So you can see here, it's very simple. Oh, sorry, you guys can't. There you go. See there? Focus on this. This is the Apple wall charger unit. Simply just connect this into an AC outlet, and this can disconnect as well. And then you can plug on the other end your USB syncing cable in there and charge your iPad through a wall outlet. I'll talk a little bit more about this later because it's one of those essential accessories. Again, this comes in the iPad box and is very useful. So again, this is a very basic power brick that goes into your AC outlet, and then you charge through that cable right there. And okay, so that is obviously it comes with the iPad, and then you can also get the basic 30-pin cable, which I'm sure you've all seen. I don't think I need to really show you guys that. You guys have seen those type of regular iPod or iPad charging cables. All pretty much the same. And that's pretty much basically what you get in the iPad box. It's as simple as that. You get some manuals and stuff like that. But really, that's about it. So let's move on to the actual pros and cons of the iPad, I should say. Almost called it a laptop. So turning it on here, so you guys can see the display. Obviously, it goes to landscape mode. It features the speakers down here. It also features a mute and volume up, volume down rocker switch. But one of the first pros I want to mention is something that you can't really tell. You won't be able to see on the actual recording using my iPhone 4 here, but it has a great display. It has a great resolution. As you can see here, the icons look awesome. And everything just looks really nice. Everything that you had on your iPhone 4 or previous iPhones is just going to look that much better on the iPad just because of the big screen real estate. You can see here you just have a lot more space for your icons. You have more room down here in the dock to put icons in. And you can see mine's jailbroken, that's why I have the custom icons. But basically, the same thing. Everything looks just about the same. You just got a lot more room for your icons and stuff like that. And I'll go over I've gone over some jailbreaking videos in the past and how to get some of these, tweaks. But I'm just talking basically about the iPad here. Now, let's talk a little bit about the keyboard, because that goes along, obviously, with the iPad. I've really actually grown to like the keyboard. It's not too, people thought it'd be too crammed, but it's relatively nearly the same size as a regular keyboard. Not obviously the same, but as one of their Apple keyboards. It's not too hard to type on, especially when it's in landscape mode, I should say. So I guess you can't really get that into landscape mode, but if I opened up something like Notes, and then made a new note, and then turned, I guess orientation lock would have to be off. So, turn it sideways, you get a nice, pretty big sized keyboard, which you can actually type on, and it's really, really nice. I really like it. The space bar is big. The keys are pretty big, so your fingers aren't crammed like on an iPhone. And the great thing about it is every app has been remade from the ground up for the iPad. Notes, Mail, Safari, all of it. So some other stuff that's been really good pros on the iPad. Great sound. I really like the sound on the iPad that they've made here through these speakers down here in the bottom right. I'm going to go ahead and open the iPod app and play a little bit of a song here. Something that's, let's see. I'm going to play The Funeral. Oh, sorry. I should move this up. I can't play this too long for copyright reasons, of course, but I can play a little bit here. This is The Funeral by the Band of Horses, but you can just really see the sliders up here. And the sound is really, really rich. I'm just going to go ahead and pause that. So, I guess, let me jump through the song a little bit so you guys can hear more. So you can tell the sound's really, really loud. It's not really distorted even at its highest point. It's really, really great. Now I know this the mic on the iPhone 4 won't do the actual iPad justice in terms of how it sounds, but trust me, really loud sound, really great for playing with friends if you want to play music, or just listening in general. Really, really great, high sounding quality speakers. All right. Other great pro that I think is the app compatibility. There's tons and tons of apps on the iPad made specifically for iPad, but you're not left in the dark there if you still use a lot of iPhone apps. For example, Skype is an app that hasn't been yet released for the iPad. There's no iPad specific version as of yet. But if you, as you can see here, you can download original iPhone apps and they run natively on the iPad in an iPhone looking mode. So this is just about the same size as an iPhone screen, but they feature this little button called 2x here, which you can obviously hit it and it will 2x the app to scale it up just for use for the iPad. Looks a little bit blurry, but still looks really great. Some of these apps work really fine. This term Skype looks actually pretty good on the full iPad screen. I can scroll through names here as I scroll through some of my contacts and stuff like that. It scales it up and it looks pretty darn good for an iPhone native app. So app compatibility is another great pro. Battery life, I've gone through a lot of tests, and really battery is awesome. Awesome. I've really haven't had it died actually, as ever since I've bought it. I always charge it obviously, but you get 10 hours plus of battery life. No, I guess not 10 hours plus, varying how you use it. Like if you if you're watching video, listening to music. 9 hours of web surfing if you're in the 3G. I'm on the Wi-Fi model, but really 10 hours is just about accurate. I really got a lot of battery life. In 10 hours, nobody's going to be using it constant for 10 hours, but when I first got it, I really put it through its paces, watching video, or listening to music, podcasts, and it still lasts you throughout the whole day or even a couple days, without needing it to be docked or charged. So battery life is a really, really great pro. Last but not least, it's a great media device. I can't stress enough how great the screen looks in terms of watching movies, using the VLC app, or actually even viewing. So let me see. I already showed. Let me see if I can. Do I have any podcasts in here that I can show you guys? Podcast. I have one of the old Cranky Geeks episodes, so maybe I can show you guys that. Oh, sorry, closed out there. YouTube videos also look great. I know some people want to know about that. So, the content. Consuming any types of media, video.
That's what always bothers me. I don't want
to close this, turn this down. The quality looks really rich, really, really nice, and you can watch it in landscape as well if you want. It's just a really, really great media, consuming device. Like I said, music, video, whatever it may be. One of the big pros is it's a great media device. Now, let's move on. Of course, there is some cons of the actual device. Now, one big con is, so a lot of people notice that if you're in the App Store and you've gotten an app, let's say you got an app on your iPhone, that something like Fruit Ninja, one of the apps that I got for my iPhone, they remade the Fruit Ninja app for the iPad, but they made it what they call Fruit Ninja HD, and this features support for the bigger screen, support for iPad specific features, but you have to repurchase the app in that case. So if there's an iPad version of an app that you already bought on your iPhone, you're gonna have to buy it again. Now, an example for an app like AirVideo, which I bought on my iPhone, but they also have it's also compatible with the iPad. If you buy this, I bought this on my iPhone, I was able to install it again on the iPad without, with no charge. So some apps are compatible, but a lot of the apps make what they call an HD version specific for the iPad where you have to repurchase the app. So that was a big con. Another big con, as of yet, 4.2 hasn't been released. It was rumored to be released this week, but has been pushed off to, I believe, November 23rd. So looking forward to the 4.2 firmware, which should bring a lot of the iPhone-specific features back to the iPad. In that case, you're talking about multitasking, you're talking about, fast app switching, folders. Those small features right there are one of those big things that you would really want to use on an iPad, but as of now, they're only restricted to the iPhone. Okay, so that's one con. Another big con, charging. The charging port works well, but, there is one big con. A lot of people have noticed that the USB port you're charging it through has to have a there's a power required for it to be charged through a USB port. Most standard computers, my MacBook, my PCs, won't charge the iPad because it doesn't have enough power to charge it through the actual USB port. I'm not talking about USB 2.0. I believe the port has to push out a certain amount of power. I forgot the specific amount, but most people just tend to charge it using the AC adapter, which I showed you earlier. Charging it through a wall outlet tends to work fine. I have no problems with that. It works fine. And you'll notice, because if you plug it into something like a computer, it'll tell you in the top right where it shows the battery percentage, it'll actually say not charging if you plug it into a USB port that doesn't presents enough power for the iPad to charge, so it'll actually alert you. Another big con, or not a big con, that was the biggest con in my opinion. The charging thing was something I was aggravated with, but no problem, I dock it into the AC connector. Another small con, I know it's not aimed for music, but you can see here in the top left they have your headphone and microphone jack, so that's really great. The microphone works great, sounds good. Audio quality sounds good through the headphones. Another small thing that people asked about in the box type thing, it did not include actually any headphones at all. Not just a small thing, it didn't aggravate me too much because I own a lot of headphones and the Apple earbuds. But you would think if you're already gonna shell out, $400+ for it, or $500+ I should say, for the iPad, that you should get a pair of headphones with it. Even though it's not per se a music device, it does have an iPod feature on it. Alright, overall guys, I love my iPad. It is a Wi-Fi model, but I get by using it at home. And when I'm on the go, if there's an open Wi-Fi spot, or I use my iPhone 4 to tether it, which I'll be showing later on in another video. But the thousands and thousands and thousands of apps on the iPad and iPhone both made its way, or I should say on the iPhone have made its way to the iPad and have been really great. The apps specifically made for the iPad are even more great. Games have been remade. There's apps like Keynote, Evernote, as you can see some here. There's a lot of different apps out here. For example, Uzu is one. Just to show the multi-touch gestures. It's really, really great how the iPad, this is just one of those fun games that you can play around with, but the iPad has tons and tons of apps you can mess around with. But really, one of my favorite things to do on the iPad is it's a great, like I said, consuming device. It's really great at taking your content and displaying it, whether it's movies, videos, text. It's a really great way to surf the web because you're actually really intact with the device. You actually hold the device. You're holding the web in your hands. You're holding that movie in your hands. Really, I can't stress enough how great the actual product is. It's just one of those things you actually have to hold and use, and you really just get to love it. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and say, give it, if you're interested in it, I would say go ahead and give it a buy. If you love your iPhone or iPod Touch, and you want something a little bit bigger to use, on the other hand, for more powerful tasks, the iPad is there for you. It's really one of those great devices. I can't stress enough how great it is. You really just have to use it. Alright guys, so Adrian here signing off. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and this is the review of the iPad.